Los Angeles, California is currently having a water crisis, along with the rest of the state. From 2012 to 2017, California went through one of the driest periods of its history. Even though the state is officially out of the drought, the Los Angeles water crisis is not solved, and the state government wants to solve this problem and future ramifications of this lack of water. LA is currently working to reduce the daily use of water of its residents and increase local supplies of water, such as reclaim wastewater and stormwater. LA currently gets its water from the Owens River, Northern California, and the Colorado River, and also groundwater. The LA water crisis is being caused by climate change, causing saltwater intrusion into aquifers, and increasing temperature is affecting the timing of water availability. The state and much of the West rely heavily on snowpacks each winter to resupply surface waters, streams, and lakes. Because of a lack of winter storms and record high temperatures, this has put the snowpacks in California at an all-time low. When surface water supplies are low, then hidden water supplies beneath the surface in aquifers or groundwater are drilled to make up for that shortfall. Once aquifers are depleted, the state will have no backup supplies to surface water. Much of the water that is transported from the Sierra Mountains and the Colorado River ends up actually being lost to leaks and evaporation. LA is experiencing warmer falls and winter temperatures and less rain than it ever has. For the little rain that they do get, 80% of the rainfall gets dumped back into the ocean because there's no good way to collect and reuse it. The water crisis is a major issue for the city of Los Angeles. Other than just the climate factors, water is heavily regulated in California, which makes the issue more complicated. 80% of California's water is used by farmers, which is the causes for most of the regulation. And then the other 20% is what is used by the cities. Though the cities have been cutting back on their water use, due to population size, still too much is being used. Based on their current practices, California is not prepared to deal with another major drought.
In order to fix this crisis, a leadership team needs to be put together to look at short-term and long-term solutions to help alleviate the drought and this water crisis. The city government, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, and large corporations in LA like Samsung need to come together to create a task force to solve this issue. This task force will need to inform the public of the issue at hand and the facts surrounding what caused the drought and everyone's responsibility in helping to fix it. The city of Los Angeles will need to cut down on their water usage, and public figures like the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, should come out and make statements on what every person needs to do and why it's important.
In a crisis, public officials need to be able to show adaptive leadership and take their part to help resolve the issue by taking responsibility and taking action. For the LA water crisis, Mayor Garcetti released a video that informed the public of the water issue, why this issue was important, and how the citizens of LA can help conserve water. Here's the video.
Imagine you have a friend, and this friend helps you do everything. Helps you cook and clean, even helps you stay alive. The craziest part? This friend travels several hundred miles every time you need it. Guess what, LA? Water is that friend. But lately, our friend water has felt a little taken for granted. It's time to ask ourselves every time we go to use water, is this good use of our friend? Let's turn this one-sided relationship around. Start with shorter showers and fixed faucets and beautiful California-friendly landscapes. Let's do this, LA, but pretty soon, our friend may not stick around. To learn more about how you can save the drop, visit SaveTheDropLA.org.
Collaboration to solve the growing water crisis in California must involve many key players with strategic resources and influence in order to make real progress. The most important player is the government and public sector. This includes the Mayor of LA, the City of LA, LA County Department of Water and Power, Department of Health and Human Services, and more, as well as the following civic partners, like LA Environment and Sanitation, LA County Public Works, LA Department of City Planning, and others. Also, nonprofits and activists will also play a huge part, as they are able to mobilize many people and gain interest. Some examples are Water LA, who also collaborates with the River Project, Heal the Bay, LA Waterkeeper, and others. The last, and also a very important piece, is the residents of LA. They are the ones who are causing this issue, but also can help alleviate this issue. So having their support and having them on board with an action plan will make the process much smoother and solve the crisis easier. All of these organizations need to work together now that the public is informed to look at all the possible alternatives and come up with an action plan to help the city of LA navigate this ongoing crisis. They all have significant roles and influence in the community and all hold stake with this issue.
There are many alternative actions that can be taken that will be relatively low cost for the government and taxpayers that don't require expensive facilities to be built. Organizations like Water LA help residents renovate their home and yards to conserve more water through a variety of methods, such as installing water barrels or planting native plants, which require less water than traditional yard plants. Currently, residents are offered tax rebates for these renovations to encourage them to make these changes. These renovations have the ability to save a considerable amount of clean water every year.
Nestle, the maker of Arrowhead bottled water, was offered a 3-year permit in June of 2018 by U.S. officials to allow it to keep taking millions of gallons of water from a national forest in Southern California. This new permit did come with new restrictions. These restrictions were designed to keep a creek flowing for other uses. Environmental and public interest groups sued the Forest Service back in 2015. They argued that it was allowing Nestle to improperly take national forest water under a permit that expired in 1988. The court ruled that the company could continue water operations while its application to renew the permit was pending. This new 3-year permit is designed to provide time for the company and forest officials to conduct more studies that could lead to a longer-term decision, according to the Forest Service. The decision ensures that the water withdrawal and conveyance infrastructure is under a current permit, and it provides for protection of forest resources. The agency said that the watershed's health is now rated as impaired, and that water extraction will be allowed when there is water available consistent with the forest lands management plan. The new agreement with Nestle would allow Nestle to take water only when there is enough water for the San Bernardino National Forest. Preventing large corporations such as Nestle from taking massive amounts of clean water for commercial use every year would be extremely beneficial to California residents lacking clean water.
The LA water shortage poses a major threat to the people living within the city and the rest of California. If left unchecked, the consequences could be catastrophic. Thankfully, a number of measures can be taken to counteract the damage already incurred and mitigate negative externalities in the future. What follows is several recommendations on action to be taken in the next few years. First, the city could recycle its wastewater for usable energy. University of Southern California engineering student Adam Smith has developed a method to reuse wastewater byproducts. With invention, special microbes will purify the water by consuming waste particles and transforming them into methane gas for energy use in the form of electricity. This method could allow the city to convert nearly all of its hazardous waste into clean, drinkable water. Second, water from the Pacific Ocean can be used as a substitute for the water from the lakes and rivers in the metropolitan area. In a process known as desalination, the salt content found in ocean water is depleted, making it drinkable and usable for household functions. However, typical desalination processes use up a lot of energy and can throw off the marine ecosystem by creating salt imbalances in the ocean. Using a process known as reverse osmosis, pressure-retarded osmosis, a special membrane can be used to separate purified water from disposable salt-enriched water. Additionally, a device developed by Infinite Cooling Incorporated, an energy startup company with roots from MIT, could capture fresh water from the cooling towers of power plants. This device would use ions to charge the water droplets found in vapor plumes so that they can be drawn towards a mesh of wires placed in the vapor's path, similar to a window screen. Water droplets then collect on that mesh, drain down into a collecting pan, and can be reused in the power plant or sent to the city's water system. This system could reduce water consumption by power plants by up to 30%. This would amount to 150 million gallons of water per year for a 600 megawatt power plant.
Another recommendation on action that our task force came up
Policy.
with is
By limiting how much clean potential drinking water large corporations use for private ventures. For example, Nestle took around 32 million gallons of water from wells and water collection tunnels in the forest at Strawberry Creek watershed in 2016 in order to produce bottled water. Preventing large corporations like this from taking tens of millions of gallons of potential clean drinking water for commercial use every year would be extremely beneficial to California residents who lack clean drinking water.
overall, our leadership team was able to manage the LA water crisis through our teamwork. We were able to first create a sense of urgency for this issue and how important water is to the city of LA and what would happen if there was a lack of water. Then we were able to form a powerful coalition by including the mayor of LA, the city of LA, and many other key players. Next, we were able to create a vision for change and communicate that vision through videos and outreach. Next, we were able to try to remove obstacles in the short term and help create some quick wins to help alleviate the crisis now, but also able to build on that change and look to the future and look at more long-term solutions to then help make sure that the LA water crisis can be controlled and that all those citizens of LA can have the water they need.